welcome to this week's edition of For the Now Space News, the often imitated but never replicated syntax news program. I'm your host, Jason-Matthew Glass. You may call me Jason. And this is for the week ending September 24th, 2022. As usual, I'm going to give you a few headlines. As you see, they've been syntaxed, and the particles of negation are in yellow. And then we're going to close out the articles with an in the now space syntax scenario. We're going to syntax something right in front of you. And then we'll have meme of the week, and then this week's cognitive conjecture, which comes from the Galactic Federation. Here we go. First headline comes from Alternate. It says more than 60% of Republicans want the United States of America declared a Christian nation. Report. So we have more as a pronoun, than is an adverb modifying 60 into an adjective, which is coloring percent into a pronoun, of is adverb modifying Republicans into an adjective, want is a pronoun, the adjective modifying united into past tense adjective, states is pronoun, of is adverb, America, adjective, declared, pronoun past tense, a adverb, Christian, adjective, coloring nation into a pronoun, and then the colon there represents a break in the continuance of the evidence, and then we have a standalone pronoun in report. And as you see, all the particles of negation, any vowel in front of a consonant at the beginning of a word is a particle of negation, along with the RE prefix, the ED suffix. They all negate the now space. So, I mean, I guess if you look at the money printed by the Federal Reserve, it says on the back, "In God we trust." I wonder what God they're talking about. I mean, the country, the past tense United States, does have a freedom of religion thing. But when when people stand to recite the national anthem, isn't it one nation under God? Or, I'm sorry, not the national anthem, the Pledge of Allegiance. Isn't it one nation under God? I guess it depends upon, it can be any God you want, I guess, you know. Doesn't matter what God that is. It can be Yahweh, it can be Allah, it could be Buddha, it could be Satan, it could be Beelzebub. I mean, whatever you want it to be. As long as you're not hurting anybody else. I mean, personally, and I think everybody here watching this knows my take on this, that I don't really participate with any of that stuff, because I make it a point to only participate with what I can certify as a fact. And I've yet to find anyone, Christian, Islam, Jewish, or even Satanist, who can certify their chosen God to me. Because when it comes down to it, ladies and gentlemen, the whole concept of a God negates the geometric level playing field of contract. Now, while I don't participate with the concept of God, I do participate with the concept of creator, because it makes sense to me that things are created by creators. And I'll leave it at that. I didn't mean for that to go into a soapbox thing. But as far as this fiction article goes, I don't see that happening. Here comes writers. Holy Land Shipwreck reveals tenacity of ancient traders as empires shifted. An ancient shipwreck found off the shore of Israel and loaded with cargo from all over the Mediterranean shows that traders from the West still came to port even after the Islamic conquest of the Holy Land. Well, yeah, I mean, what do I always say? Follow the money, man. Follow the money. It doesn't matter who's taking care of what. It doesn't matter if who's controlling what. The money's still going to flow. Supply and demand. It doesn't matter if you make drugs illegal. People are still going to get drugs. It doesn't matter if you make guns illegal. People are still going to get guns. Only now, the guns and drugs are going to be out of the lawful citizens' hands and into the criminals' hands. So, I mean, it's defeatist at best. It doesn't work. It's a push-button system. You push one down, another one pops up. And it's just a cyclical thing. It goes on and on and on, and it has never changed. Just like the condition of state of society. Think about it, ladies and gentlemen. What has changed? Has life gotten better for you and your family in the last 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years? Or do you think life was better 50 years ago? Just a thought. But I am a fan of history and finding out about things like that. And also finding out that things like the Silk Roads and trade routes have always existed. Pretty much throughout history. I mean, where there's a road out there, down the street, it's probably always been there. Even before the Europeans and whatever came here, when this was basically inhabited by First Nations mainly, that road was still a road. It was still a trade route. You know what I'm saying? So that's interesting to me. Next headline comes from Boston 25 News. 3 Stoughton officers had inappropriate relationships with girl who later died by suicide, chief says. Okay, I'll give you a little bit more detail on this. From my comprehension of what was being shared, 3 officers, 2 of which I think were related, or maybe all 3 were related, all had a relationship with a 13-year-old girl who was a part of some outreach program run by the police department. Now, if that isn't the meaning of malicious evil, I don't know what is. Taking advantage of a 13-year-old child. Police officers, no doubt, who are held to a higher standard, doing this. Again, it's unspeakable, it's reprehensible, it's disgusting, and it's intolerable. In any case, we have adjective, 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 past tense, adjective, pronoun, adverb, verb, adverb, adjective, pronoun, past tense, adverb, verb, and then an adjective pronoun at the end there. And then, of course, the particles of negation. IN means no. RE means no. ED means no. And a vowel in front of a consonant means no. Yeah, let's get away from this one. This one's just disgusting. Next up, some, fairly good news. Good Samaritans hailed as heroes after saving girl from kidnapper in Hawaii restaurant. So we got adjective, adjective, pronoun, past tense, adverb, verb, adverb, adjective, pronoun, adverb, verb, adverb, adjective, pronoun. Now the story behind this is the girl is 15 years old, and I guess she was kidnapped by a 52-year-old criminal who was awaiting trial for some other case. And this individual, I guess, was a meth head, methed up, and kidnapped this little girl and forced her to partake in his chemical of choice, and then also assaulted her indecently. And but thankfully, someone recognized her in a restaurant, and they grabbed the dude, held him till the cops got there, and they saved the girl. And I really wish we could see more stories like that. Salute to those people. And that guy should get the same punishment as those 3 cops in the last one. Next headline comes from National Review. Air Force Academy tells cadets to ditch gendered terms like mom and dad. And here we go with the dollar store quotations, also known as apostrophes, functioning as quotations. So we got a whole mess of adjectives ending in the pronoun cadets. Then we have future tense adverb to, and then we have adjective, adjective past tense, adjective pronoun, and then we have an apostrophe mom and an apostrophe, which it's not there due to the four-corner rule. As we syntax things, that's the way we syntax it, basing it with certification from various styles manuals. And then we have a standalone pronoun and, because and is not connecting anything. Now, if the mom and dad were not in those apostrophes, then the and would function as a conjunction. But it doesn't, because there's just a break in continuance of the evidence on the port side and a break in the continuance of the evidence on the starboard side. So it's a standalone pronoun. And as far as the headline itself, all I can say is leave it to the Air Force to do something like that. Next headline comes from Next Shark. Family of Chinese student who died in Sand Dune accident while working on film sues USC. We got pronoun, adverb, adjective, pronoun, adverb, verb in the past tense, adverb, adjective, 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 pronoun, adverb, adjective, adjective, pronoun. Now this headline right here has to do with I think it was a 29-year-old grad student who agreed to take part in filming at USC. And now the student's parents, the 29-year-old man's parents, are suing the university because the man died in a freak accident. Maybe it wasn't a freak accident, I don't know. He died while filming this. I mean, to me, this is ridiculous. I can see if it was like a 12-year-old boy and died while filming. Well, yeah, then it's, but this is a 29-year-old male who made their own decision to be there doing that. So, yeah, I don't think that family's going to get very far. Now it's time to do some syntaxing in the now time, in the now space, in the continuum. Tropical Depression 9 to continue to strengthen, turn toward Florida. First step we take is we look at each word in reverse. We go backwards, because that's the most efficient and effective way of syntaxing that I know of. So the first word is Florida. That's a location, so we have tangible contract with that. It's tangible contract. How about toward? Do you think that's tangible contract or non-tangible contract? How about turn? Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you have the resources available, I highly recommend that you do not guess at these things. Look them up, as I'm going to do with you right now. So I'm going to type toward in the etymology dictionary. Old English, in the direction of. See, to plus ward. So I know what to is. How about ward? That's the important one. Comes from this root, were, raise, lift, suspend, bend. Well, I have a tangible contract with what that means. Now, this is interesting because we have turn, which is the next word I'm going to look up. Comes from this Proto-Indo-European root, which means to rub. So, simply put, turn and toward are both tangible contract. So let's start marking it up. That's going to be a pronoun, adjective, adjective. While we're at it, let's do these particles of negation. And get back to syntaxing, so strengthen is tangible contract verb modified by non-tangible contract adverb in the future tense 2. Continue is another verb being modified by another adverb in the future tense 2. 9, of course, is tangible contract because it is a number. Depression is tangible contract adjective, and tropical is tangible contract adjective. Now, you know, depression is a terrible thing. It's not a, if it goes on for a long period of time, it can be psychologically very harmful. So I highly recommend that tropical get some help for their depression. Tropical 9, what is it? Tropical depression 9. Well, maybe it's the 9th stage of depression. You're getting up there. You're getting up there. It's bad enough to have the first stage, but to go through up to 9 is, better get on the phone with your therapist. Next up, we're going to have Meme of the Week. Now, I know I've already talked about some pretty hairline touchy things according to YouTube policies. So I'm just going to read this, but I'm not really going to say too much about it. As you see, the individual on the left is thanking the individual in the hoodie on the right, saying, "Thanks so much for doing our laundry." And you see the laundry. That's a lot of laundry. And the bonus meme of the week. Not even going to read that. I just thought it was funny, but not in a ha-ha type of way. Now we're moving on to the cognitive conjecture part of the show, where I was going to listen to a little bit of this very important message from Ashtar Galactic Commander that was posted about 4 days ago. It was posted this week, so it's recent. So let's hear what Ashtar has to say.
To all the brothers of this beautiful blue planet, I come to bring you hope, balance, the certainty of a better future. Equality will reign on this planet. There will be no more hunger. There will be no more misery. There will be no more pain. There will be no inferior and superior. Everyone will be equal. Everyone will have the right to everything. Everyone will be able to have access to everything. Each of you needs to look within yourself. To look at the other. Not as the one who usurps what is yours. Not as the one who takes it from you for him. Not as the one who prevents you from having something. Anyone standing in front of you is a child of Father, Mother, God, just like you. It's not up to each of you to judge what the other deserves or doesn't deserve. Because at this moment you put yourself on a pedestal, intuiting that you deserve everything, without caring about everything that is in your soul walk. And the other doesn't, deserves nothing, in your eyes. Your planet will change. It will change in the concept, in the form, in the way that each one of you has.
I think that's about enough of that. I see that they're still spouting the same rhetoric that they've been spouting for 30, 40 years now. It started out nice, talking about basically rule 1, rule equal, geometric level playing field. But then it kind of went south with some sort of goofiness that reminded me of the book. I think it's called Darkness Over Tibet. I think there's a scene in there where these individuals this family was living in a rat-infested house, and the rats were eating the father's children, and he was just letting it happen. And someone asked him, why are you allowing that to happen? And the father said, well, the rats are living creatures too. They also need to eat. That's the same BS that this Ashtar AI voice is spouting off. Yeah, I haven't listened to anything like this in like a year or two. I once had a student from overseas who was really into the alien super soldier galactic federation type stuff, and that was like the last time I listened to it, and you know, big surprise, we parted ways. And I think I probably won't listen to it again for a very long time after listening to this, because it's still just the same muck. Thank you once again for joining me this week. As always, if you look over here, you can see that join button. If you want to get some access to exclusive content on this channel that the general public doesn't have access to, click that button and join Tier 2. If you want to join Tier 1, that's awesome as well. I appreciate any support I can get for this channel, because it keeps the channel going and keeps it afloat. And like and share this channel, tell your friends about it, share the video, so on and so forth. If you want to learn correct sentence structure, communication, parsing, syntax, grammar, you can email me at the email address down here, and I'll set up a 10 to 15 minute consultation, and you can apply for a workshop. Other than that, there are over 400 videos on this channel, free of charge, that you can study for yourself and learn the grammar if you so choose. Again, I hope you have a great week, pleasant evening, and I'll catch you next time. Salut.